Hello, dog lovers, dog breeders, and every single person that has a thing for dogs. It's still your host, Stephanie Michaels. And guess what? We are in Umuahia. Yes, Africa Dog Blog is in Umuahia. I think we're going around the world, and I'm so glad we are. Okay, we are going to have an interview with someone special today. He's a veterinary student. So keep your eyes fixed on your screen. Don't go anywhere because we'll be back after the short break. Welcome back to Africa Dog Blog. It's still your favorite host, Stephanie Michaels. And like I told you earlier, we are in Umuahia. I mean, Africa Dog Blog is going around the world. And I have someone amazing with me on set, okay? He's my guest. And he's a veterinary student. So, sir, please can you introduce yourself? I think our viewers really want to meet you.
I am Rufus Chiemeriwo Nathan, CEO, National Agro Services.
Beautiful.
And I'm pleased to be here.
We're pleased to have you here as
Thank
well.
you, ma'am.
Okay, so why exactly do you think dog breeders should take veterinarians seriously? Because there are some dog breeders that, well, I call it self-medication because they treat their dogs by themselves. So can you tell us the importance of veterinary medicine?
All right. In that aspect, there are a whole lot of importance that if we start now, we can't exhaust it. But we'll just go to the main ones. I think every dog breeder should have a vet he or she beckons on or runs to whenever there is problem. In the terms that there is what we call antibiotic resistance. So sometimes all these medications have a dose relationship. So if you give underdose, there will be resistance in it, and it makes, whenever you are giving the drugs again, the antibiotics or the thing you are trying to treat have already gotten resistant against the medication you are giving. And why treating, it's not as if you are not doing the right thing, you are doing the right thing, but a lesser dose, or maybe the bacteria have built a resistance against it. Even in parasitic infestations like all this deworming that every regular breeder do. So all these things, they have dose. Like in puppies, you have to know the weight. Some of these tablets, they prescribe this thing in they inscribe in the packets of the sachets or packets of the drugs, like the dewormers, the common one we know. So some of them you see 10 kg to 1 tablet and all the rest. So if you don't know the weight of your dog, or if you don't know how to administer, you just go, you hear that this breeder A is administering one tablet, you go and administer 1 tablet without knowing that there is a weight dose response or dose relationship in that. So in that aspect, it builds resistance in our environment, and thereby making most of these virus or bacteria, most of these infections grow resistance and then replicate. So it's really a problem. It's really a problem. Then secondly, most breeders, most of them lose their animal to carelessness, in the sense that they don't have someone they call on. They think they can do it on their own. So you see someone, maybe his dog is purging, instead of calling a veterinarian or a vet doctor, so he or she might say, okay, let me just try managing it. Then when they in the act of managing it, the thing will go severe, or when it becomes severe, you start calling the vet. And when they call the vet, they won't tell you what they've done. They will just tell you, my dog is doing this, my dog is doing that. Okay, what are the signs you are seeing? When they start, they will not tell you, because they know that they are self-medicating. What they are doing is wrong. So they won't have that morale or that distance to tell you what they've done. And when you start treatment, you see that maybe 24 hours into treatment or so, the dog will die or the animal will die. And then maybe they will start blaming the vet. Yes, they are the cause. So in that aspect, I think veterinarians are very important, and every breeder should have a veterinarian or a vet doctor he or she works with, to at least prolong the life of our furry friends.
Yes, you're very right. You're very correct. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you.
That was amazing. That was enlightening. Okay, still on the importance of veterinarians and the importance of veterinary medicine.
Yes.
Okay, what exactly would you say to particularly breeders that have veterinarians? They have veterinary doctors that they work with, but they also self-medicate. So sometimes they call the veterinary doctor when the issue is like it has gone out of hand. Maybe there's an operation to do, but then if it's the minor things, they do it themselves. What do you have to say about this?
It depends on what they're doing. Like the minor ones, like deworming, I'm not against that. But if you are doing it, make sure it's prescribed by the vet. Make sure you are working under the vet's prescription. You understand? But anything injection, I don't think a breeder have the right to inject, because most of these injections, like most of them, their effects, and like the antibiotics I told you, that there is some things like resistance, and there are some infections that are like something like sensitivity tests. Okay. So sometimes you don't just go and start treating a dog or start treating an animal. You have to at least run a test, know the cause of what is wrong with the animal before you start. So if it's something like deworming, because it's not everything that you call the vet, so there are some first aids that you can do, like deworming. Then things like this activated charcoal, at least every breeder is supposed to have it. So in case when your dog,
activated charcoal.
Yes.
Okay, how does that work?
It's just a it's like an anti-poison, an antidote. You know, most times our dogs, our pets do get poisoned, not as though people are poisoning them, but they might pick up chemicals in the environment or any toxic substance. So sometimes you just administer the activated charcoal orally. You just, the prescription how to administer is on the container. So you just mix it with water, then administer it orally. Then it will absorb the poison or the poisonous substance, and then give your pets more life or more chances to survive for a period of time before the vet gets there. So I believe they can do first aid, but treating their dogs or self-medicating is really, really bad. At least even if you want to do something that is related to that, let it be in line with your veterinary doctor or the veterinarian. Yes.
Okay, that's great. That's great. All right. So you know, there's multivitamin, you know, preventive measures that people or breeders can take to avoid some things happening to the dog.
Yes.
You know, I want you to talk to us about that as well.
All right. They are known as prophylaxis, like treatment against a disease. So the first I will talk about is just the common one, which is vaccination. So vaccination is the major preventive measure in the aspect of disease, apart from biosecurity measures. So I believe every breeder or a pet owner should take his or her vaccination very, very serious, in the sense that when you vaccinate your pets, you are making the animal have immunity against the natural host or natural organisms of that particular vaccine. Like, let's say anti-rabies virus. When you give a pet anti-rabies virus, you are just introducing the pathogen, but a minute quantity. You introduce it into the pet or the dog. Then the dog will build immunity against that anti-rabies. So whenever it is exposed to rabies virus, it won't contact rabies, because the body already have a memory cell or have sensed that virus before, so it has built immunity against it. So the other thing I talked about earlier, which is deworming. Deworming is also a prophylactic. So sometimes you don't wait for your animal to get down with worm infestation. So sometimes some people deworm their pets monthly intervals, some people 2 months, some people 3 months. So it's really good. At least work with your veterinarian. He will tell you the drugs you are using and then how the intervals are, because there are many drugs and many companies out there with all these worm tablets. So you know the one you're using, work with your veterinarian. He will tell you whether it's good or not. They know the best. So the veterinarians know the ones that are good and the ones that are effective. So they will tell you and then tell you how to use it. Now, multivitamin. Multivitamin is very, very important in boosting the immune system of these pets or our dogs and our friends. So it's very, very necessary that every pet owner or dog breeder should have a multivitamin he or she is working with. You understand? Because when you give the dogs this multivitamin, it helps boost their immune system and then makes them to be stronger. Then also some of them, when they lose appetite, because this multivitamin they contain vitamin A, D, E, even C. So even B complex and all those stuff. So all these are multivitamin and they play a very vital role, which the normal food we are giving to our pets might not have. So if you are not feeding your pets with all these exotic foods, which are somewhat costly, it's good to get this multivitamin. So the nutrients the food cannot give them, they will get it from the multivitamin, and then it makes them stronger. And then once they are stronger, I believe they will be able to resist some of these diseases. They say health is wealth. So once your pet is healthy, you will make money from it. Yes.
That's really great. That's really great. Okay, so I'm wondering, is there any other thing apart from self-medication that breeders do on their own, or actually they require the attention of a veterinary doctor?
Yes.
Okay.
Actually, I know everybody will be surprised to hear this, but in terms of choosing a stud, like some of these stud breeders that buy stud, you see people spending 1 million in a stud dog, like an adult dog. That's when I mean choosing a stud, I don't mean a puppy, like at least a dog that is matured for stud services. So sometimes we don't even ask how or why the owners of these beautiful dogs are selling them, because stud dogs are usually beautiful and they're very plumpy. So sometimes someone cannot just sell, but when you ask, they tell you that they're selling, they want money, they're relocating, but that most times there are more to that. So it is good to work with veterinarians whenever you want to attain a stud or acquire a stud, because there are things we call breeding soundness examination. So you have to be sure that the dog or the stud is sound enough for breeding. You understand? So there's okay, I've seen a stud dog that has only one testis. So it's called cryptorchidism. So it's the terminology. So it's unilateral cryptorchidism. So sometimes there can be bilateral cryptorchidism, in the sense that the two testes doesn't descend. And you see, those dogs, they have urge. They mate, they mount dogs, but they are not usually productive. They are sterile. So also there is something we call semen quality examination. So you have to examine the sperm, know the semen quality, both the physical and microscopic examination. Be sure that the dog is productive, or the sperm are good enough to impregnate a female or for breeding. You understand? So that's why most times you see people, they acquire a stud, they do, and the stud is not productive. It's not as if maybe you have bad luck. It's just that maybe the stud is having a genetic issue, and then there are some diseases dogs might have, and it will make them not to be productive, such as brucellosis. So sometimes when dogs are affected with some disease, it affects their reproductive index. So it makes them not to produce as they should. So I think whenever a vet is about choosing, whenever a breeder is about acquiring an adult stud, he should at least consult a vet to at least examine the stud. Wow. Even if it's not let's say the clinical examination, like testing the semen, because the owner of the stud might not agree for the vet to come and collect samples, but at least the physical examination, examine the testicular size and all those stuff to check whether the male is fit for breeding. So I think that's the aspect. They need a vet. Yes.
That's great.
Yeah.
Wow. You've really opened our eyes to a lot. You've really opened our eyes to a lot. Okay, so before we call it a day, because it's a short interview but very impactful. So before we call it a day, is there any advice you have for people that want to go into veterinary medicine? Because you're still a student, so
yes, I
know you know how everything works and all of that. So is there any advice you have for people that want to go into veterinary medicine?
Right, I have an advice. It's just a little advice. I know when you are outside the space or outside the academic space, you just see it as veterinary medicine. But once you come into the academic space, maybe you're 100 level, they'll start telling you vet is hard, vet is this one. It's not everyone that can do vet. So you'll be afraid, but don't be afraid. It's you. As far as it's you that made the choice, as long as you're not being pushed to study vet, you can do it. If I can do it, everybody can do it.
Yes.
You understand? If I can do it, everybody can do it. So it's something you have to at least make it's a choice you have to make on your own. So even if it's stressful, you'll be able to walk through it because you made the choice by yourself. So all it requires is just consistency. It's just like every other course, but this one is somewhat stressful in the sense that if you are coming to school, you are coming to school. It's nothing like sorting or those. So you have to perform in all the academic activities. So it's not that hard, but you have to put in efforts. because here sometimes you don't feel the pass mark, the least cutoff we'll have here is just C, A, B, C, F. So 50, if you have 47, 48, 49, you are failing. So you have to be serious, you have to be up and doing, just like massage. And I can probably say that it's even harder than massage because we don't only study male and female, unlike the human medicine that do male and female organism, like human male and female categories. But here we study different species: the goats, the caprine, the canine, the equine, the porcine, and then the canine, which is dog. Then also inside them you study the male and the female. So it's really a broad course, and it's very nice. It's very nice. So it's a course I'm proud to do because I know that I'm impacting human lives, we're saving in terms of zoonosis, all this transmissible infection from animal to human. Then public health, we're still doing a lot in that place. So it's a course that is worth doing. So I believe every family should have a vet.
Yes, you heard him. Every family should have a vet. And I hope you listened to the advice he gave you, that people that want to get into veterinary medicine, this advice is very key. Okay, I think our viewers still want to hear you talk because I want to hear you talk. So can you still tell us about your story as a veterinary student and of course aspiring veterinary doctor?
Okay. My story is not an easygoing one, but I'll just have to make it short. Actually, I had in mind to study veterinary medicine right from while I was small, but getting to my SSC after my WAEC, I was helping my father because my father have a welding shop, so I was helping him in his shop. So I sustained a mechanical injury in my eye, so it really affected me.
Okay,
that's so it really affected me. Was in hospital, had surgeries and all those stuff. So my first jam, they didn't give me veterinary medicine. They gave me plant science and biotechnology. So after the injury, many people were saying that I can't go to school because the doctors said I shouldn't look at white paper. And this happens approximately 7 years ago. Should be 2016 or thereabouts. 2016, yes, that was when I wrote WAEC. So they were saying I can't read. I shouldn't look at white papers and all those stuff. So my parents were asking me, can you go to school? You will leave school now, maybe we'll open a business for you and all those stuff. I told them no, I can't end this way. So I know that I have a bigger dream to achieve. I know that people's destiny are resting on my shoulders, so I have to carry them. So I applied for another jam. I let that one slide because of the eye and all those stuff. So I applied for another jam. Then I wrote for veterinary. I applied for veterinary medicine too. So the second jam, I got admission into veterinary medicine. That was 6 years ago, should be. So I got admission into veterinary medicine, started studying. When I came to school, I wasn't that serious because of my eye. I couldn't read. I was still adhering to the doctor's instructions. It's just that I went to a better secondary school. That was what helped me a lot because year one, most of the things they teach are physics, chemistry. So it was related. Then 200 level, I started getting better. So many people were telling me, are you sure you don't go to night class? Are you sure you can study vets? Are you sure you can do this? Are you sure you can do that? So it's something you have to, like, if you determine that you do it. That's why I said earlier that if I can do it, everybody can do it. So even my colleagues, my junior colleagues, when they say it's hard, I told them, if I can do it, you can do it. Most of them don't know why I'm telling them because they don't know my story, but I know, and I can probably beat my chest that everybody can study veterinary medicine. It's all about maybe you removing the slight abstractions. And then me as a veterinary medicine, I'm also a dog breeder. I have more than 7 adult dogs and puppies too. So I take care of them on daily basis. So when people ask me, how do you do this? How do you study vet? You go to school early, you do I still do business. I still sell dogs, I still do other things.
Inspiring.
So I like now in school I support my parents. In fact, I shouldn't be saying all this, but I know that if I can do veterinary medicine, everybody, it's hard, but if you determine that you want to do it, you can do it. It's just you have to cut the side attractions. If you are someone that maybe you love playing football, you can just reduce the length of time you play football. And if you are someone a partying type, you just reduce the time. Like me, it's just me, my book, my dogs, my business, then my phone. Because me, I love comedies and then all these social stuffs. So It's just fine. Everybody can do veterinary medicine.
Yes,
Yes, you can do veterinary medicine. Everybody can do veterinary medicine.
I'm
So
telling you the truth, I won't try.
it's just consistency. You have to be consistent and up and doing. If they say come, you have tests, you have lectures, then but it's not easy. I must say it's not easy. Like
Obviously.
every day we have lectures from 8 to 6. Okay, 8 to 5 p.m. here in Moayu. We have lectures 8 to 5 p.m. every day. Then during exams, our exams are 3 weeks straightforward, back to back every day. You write today, you don't have time to read. You write tomorrow.
And you have exams tomorrow.
Yes, I wrote today, and I still have exams tomorrow. So that's what we are saying. So you have to at least put effort. So this night I will sleep. I won't sleep this night. I will just have to read all night.
That's so much. That's really so much. Okay, so one more thing, and we'll call it a day.
Right.
Is there anybody you want to give a shout out to? You know, someone that has helped you throughout this journey from the time you started up until now.
Okay, I would like to give a shout out to my parents, and Lady Nathan Osuji.
Shout out to you.
Then my friends, my colleagues, Ugu Divine, Comrade Ugu Divine, Honorable Comrade Aninjoku Sussex, and so many others. Most of my colleagues that are part of my Sussex, because before I forget, Honorable Anthony Abuka, he's my very, very good friend. Most times whenever I'm at home, people ask me, how do you run your business, and maybe you travel too. He's just like my backbone. Most times when I'm not around, he feeds my dog and all those stuff. Then likewise Ugu Divine. So during mating store services, whenever I encounter a crazy bitch or maybe a stubborn bitch, they just put hands together and then let it go. So the planning and all those stuff, they are always there to me. It's not a one-man stuff. So I'm giving shout out to every other person in my life, my siblings, my friends, and my lecturers. They've really done a lot of work. So thank you very much.
Thank you too. Shout out to every single person that was mentioned. Thank you for everything that you've done for him. He really does appreciate. Okay, we've come to the end of this interview, and I know you enjoyed yourself just like I did. Like he said so much that we need to look into and we need to learn. We've finally come to the end of this interview, and I know that you had so much fun. Like it was just so enlightening. And if you've not followed us on all our social media platforms, please do so. On Instagram, on Facebook, and on TikTok at Africo Dog Blog, and on YouTube as well at Africo Dog Blog. If you've not subscribed, you need to subscribe on our YouTube channel as well, and hit that notification bell to always get informed when we post juicy dog content. I remain your special host, Stephanie Michaels. See you next time.